Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. La Niña, it is officially here. It was declared yesterday by the Bureau of Meteorology. So that means we're likely to see more cloud, more humidity, and an increased chance of rain for northern areas and along the eastern side of Australia, and clearly up in the tropical islands. That is where La Niña is measured, up here in the tropics. So the further you are away from the equator, the more likely you are to be impacted by the usual windy westerly weather down here in the Southern Ocean. So New Zealand's halfway between La Niña conditions and Antarctica. So we get a bit of both worlds. We still get, we do get affected by some of that La Niña weather, which means, as I say, more cloud and humidity. We're seeing more rain already coming into the eastern side of Australia, but it's mixed in still with some of these southerlies like you're seeing here coming in across Australia, and in the next few days a lot of rain coming in for the western side of New Zealand. So we get a bit of both worlds, the La Niña world and the usual weather that we get down here in the Southern Ocean. This map, by the way, is showing humidity as well as the wind, and you can see the extra humidity showing up in the brighter blue around eastern Australia, where a lot of rain is about to set in, and also the upper North Island of New Zealand, both this morning and again later on today, and we might be seeing a few of those afternoon downpours bubbling up once more, mixed in with drizzle patches. So typical La Niña weather. Look at the temperatures in New Zealand. Departure from normal the next 2 days. Today's weather over 8 degrees above average through inland parts of the South Island, and again on Thursday through those inland areas, over 8 degrees above normal. In red, 4 to 8 degrees above average. And as you'll notice, the very coastal areas here, where those nor'easters are coming through, actually leaning a little bit cooler than average for today. Tomorrow about average, and again tonight dropping down a little bit lower than usual in those areas, but the South Island definitely leans warmer than average for the next couple of nights ahead and the next couple of days ahead. This is actually bang in line with what our IBM forecast was saying temperature-wise for this month. So let's take a look at the rain that's on the way. Now, La Niña usually brings in rain to the north, but a reminder, not everything comes out of La Niña tropics for us here in New Zealand. So what we're seeing over the next few days is some rain coming out of Australia. Now, it is partially fueled by a subtropical airflow. That's going to boost up those numbers. So we'll be seeing some big totals on the west coast and some spillover into Southland and Otago, which is not actually the norm when we have a big, strong, powerful La Niña, which we don't have. It's a fairly moderate, short-lived one by the looks of it. And so therefore it may not bring in the big dry weather we're used to seeing in southern parts of the country. And speaking of La Niña in Australia, look at the rainfall totals. We talked about this yesterday, but the whole eastern side from north of Cairns right down to just east of Melbourne, and your rainfall totals are between about 60 millimetres and 120 millimetres, and half of that rain could be falling in just the next 24 hours. So a fair bit of rain moving out of Australia. By the way, yesterday, apologies, I pointed to New Zealand and said Australia, which is, I've got to apologise to the New Zealand audience and to the Australian audience, so I'll say sorry to all of you. Let's get into the forecast. Here is the shape of Thursday. It is looking pretty wet around eastern Australia. Low pressure stuck here. La Niña easterlies and northerlies feeding down into it as well, but a much cooler southerly coming in for Melbourne and Adelaide. Most of Australia below average temperature-wise at the moment because of this southern high and the big southerly coming through with it. On the other side, another high pushing in that warm, humid weather into Australia, and then it curves around and back into the lower part of the west coast. And that's why as we get to Friday, we're going to be seeing a bit of wet weather coming in there. So we've got a bit of subtropical airflow coming in. That enhances the rain clouds, and at the same time, this low coming out of Australia drifting towards us, and the high south of Australia bringing in that Southern Ocean airflow, so the temperatures are about to drop in the lower part of the South Island as we go into the weekend. And look at all that rain, also very windy conditions south of New South Wales. So as we go into the weekend, rain moves up the South Island, along with a very light southerly flow. Temperatures will be down in Southland on Saturday. We'll see rain moving up the island, mostly over on the west coast, and much of the North Island mild and dry under high pressure. As we get into Sunday, a small area of low pressure forms down around Fiordland. That'll encourage heavier falls over on the west coast. And remember, with that subtropical flow coming through, some of those downpours will be quite heavy, and some will spill over into Southland and Otago. Again, this is not like a normal La Niña pattern. If we had a big, strong, powerful La Niña, I don't think we'd be seeing so much rain down here in Southland and central Otago. So there's the positive for you. Up in the north, high pressure is controlling things. Might be a bit of morning cloud around though. That's something that we get a lot of with La Niña. Morning cloud and drizzle. Then it dries up, the sun might come out, and then you'll find in the afternoon, Mother Nature gathers up all that drizzly moisture and turns it into a big afternoon downpour, or 2 or 3 big afternoon downpours. So it's still the same amount of moisture, but instead of being spread out as this drizzly, misty cloud that you get in the morning and then again late at night, in the afternoon goes into these big lumpy downpours. So we might be seeing some of those on Monday around the North Island, stuck between 2 high pressure zones. And meanwhile, Australia, those easterlies, they just keep going with more showers. If you want sun and dry, and not much to talk about weather-wise, head on over to Western Australia. And the weather there is looking pretty calm for the next wee while. That is all from me. We will see you again tomorrow with our next update.